these mistakes being some of the weirdest in the game and easiest to research, but they still managed to get a lot of the details wrong. They had all of these examples but still decided to just make something up for absolutely no reason either. There's just more stuff done to make the game more fun and playable, but it completely tanks the historical accuracy of the game. Something like this takes 5 seconds of Google research to fix, but somehow they still got it all wrong. Hello everybody. In today's video, I'll be going over every single historical inaccuracy in the mission Stronghold in Call of Duty World War II. This is the 3rd episode, so be sure to go check out the previous videos in this series. This episode, surprisingly to me, has actually had the most inaccuracies so far. At the end of the mission, I'll be giving it a historical accuracy grade, so stay tuned for that. Before we start, I'm not a historian, but I do have a passion in World War II, and I have been collecting relics and studying for a few years now. But if I do miss anything, please let me know down in the comments below. I hope you all enjoy the video. I won't keep any longer, so let's go ahead and get right into it.
Get to cover.
The mission begins and Pearson gives us the objective.
Our job is to lay down suppressive fire from that church.
Having this epic Hollywood scene unfold right in front of us. You will see the first of many inaccuracies almost immediately into beginning the mission. The weapon you're given at the start is incorrectly labeled as an M1928, when it's accurately modeled after the M1A1 Thompson, but still given the wrong name. Something like this takes 5 seconds of Google research to fix, but somehow they still got it all wrong. The M1928 had a built-in foregrip, a ribbed barrel, ladder sights, and the charging handle was on the top. Pearson's Thompson is also completely inaccurate. His has triangular sights, a top-mounted charging handle, a smooth barrel, a foregrip, and a drum mag, making a version of the gun that never existed at any point at all. His gun does resemble the M1928 more than ours though, which is pretty funny. The next inaccuracy we'll come across is another weapon. The M1A1 carbine is also incorrectly labeled. The gun shown is just a normal M1 carbine. The M1A1 had a foldable stock, which this one obviously isn't. The sights are also just way too big compared to the real thing. Obviously this was done so the player can see better while aiming, but still it's an inaccuracy. Daniels is also equipped with an M1911. Privates were never issued sidearms, so he should not have one. We will take a break from the guns and move on to the uniforms shown in the game now. Starting off, Daniels, Zussman, and Pearson are all wearing the wrong type of uniform. They are all wearing M43 field jackets, which were not standard issue until late 1944. The random AI soldiers are also seen wearing the M43s. They should be wearing either the HBT or the M41, which were actually in use at this time. On top of that, none of them have any rank or unit patches stitched into their sleeves, even when they are given ranks in their names. Now onto the German uniforms, these mistakes being some of the weirdest in the game and easiest to research, but they still managed to get a lot of the details wrong. Starting off, the helmets the soldiers are wearing are completely wrong. Most of them only have a tricolor decal, when they were never produced to just have a tricolor decal. On top of that, the tricolor decal was no longer manufactured with the helmets after 1940, so they just shouldn't be here at all. A helmet never looked like this at any point in time during the war. The color for the tunics is also completely wrong. This stone gray color never existed for the German uniforms, even though they had this many colors to pick from. They had all of these examples but still decided to just make something up for absolutely no reason either. Some of them are also wearing overcoats in the middle of July, and a lot of them don't have any ammo patches on their belts. And also every single swastika on the uniforms are replaced with iron crosses. You also see a lot of them wearing field caps, which would not be the case during a battle. Every single soldier had an issued helmet that he would be wearing. The field caps themselves though are designed incorrectly as well. The ones shown here are actually SS caps. You can tell by the eagle on the side, which were only present on the SS caps. So these normal German Heer Wehrmacht soldiers should not be wearing SS caps. They should have the plain field caps that they would be wearing. We clear out the destroyed house of German soldiers, pushing them into the street in front of the church. A half-track filled with German soldiers rolls in, and I use the green smoke from my hello to call in mortars on them. Mortar strikes were never called in with just a smoke grenade. There'd be radio coordination, not just tossing in smoke and waiting for the mortars to land. There's just more stuff done to make the game more fun and playable, but it completely tanks the historical accuracy of the game. Now back to the weapons for a second here. The M1 Garand is labeled correctly and designed well, but it has a few flaws. The first and easiest to notice is that the sight is just way too big. Obviously done again so the player can see better while shooting, but it's still an inaccuracy, so I feel like I have to include it. The next thing, which isn't completely wrong but still weird, you always push the bolt forward after putting another clip in, when the M1 Garand bolt was designed to rack itself after pushing a clip in. That's how the iconic Garand thumb would occur. It would close on its own if you didn't hold it back from releasing itself after reloading. Sometimes you would have to nudge it forward, but every single time, like what's shown, is not accurate. The next inaccuracy is the WW2, which is also incorrectly labeled. It was never called the WW2 in real life by either side during the Second World War. It was always called the MP28. On top of that, it should not be here as it was used by Waffen SS, Gestapo, and police forces, not Wehrmacht soldiers. Daniels kicks open the door and we move inside the church.
Where'd they go? They must have run when they heard us coming. Back up before we get to the tower. Shit!
Getting caught off guard by an MG on the balcony, igniting a close-quarters skirmish inside the church. There were never any gunfights documented inside the church. It was heavily bombarded and partially destroyed by artillery, but there were never any engagements like this inside of the church during the Battle of Marigny. A German soldier with a flamethrower appears and a flanker on the side, coming across the next inaccuracies. This German soldier is carrying a Luftwaffe drilling shotgun, which was extremely rare and, as the name implies, only used by Luftwaffe soldiers. You can tell by his helmet though, which has a hair decal on the side, that he is not a Luftwaffe soldier. Going back to the helmets briefly here, it's weird that they have a correct-ish modeled helmet with the right decals, the only problem being that the tricolor shouldn't be on it at this time. But this helmet did actually exist compared to the ones that we see that only have a tricolor decal. It's weird that they took the time to model these helmets, which are actually correct, minus the tricolor decal being on them, but then give them to soldiers who are carrying guns that aren't accurate for them to have. So this entire mess here is just weird. The next inaccuracy is a small one, but still wrong. If you turn around here, you'll find one of the many mementos in the game, this one being an SS officer's pin. The inaccuracy here being that the Iron Cross replaces the SS bolts. SS units were present and vital in the Battle of Marigny, but this is the only thing that shows they were here. Even when the game has SS units designed, they still use the normal Wehrmacht models. We clear out the church in intense close-quarters combat. Then Pearson sends Zussman and Ilo out to take out the AA guns, while the rest of the squad provides overwatch from the church tower. We climb the ladder, and take position in the bell tower of the church to provide Zussman and his team sniper support. After picking off a few soldiers, German snipers begin firing at Zussman's squad from the building across from us. The inaccuracy here being that for some reason they are wearing ghillie suits while being inside of a building. There is no purpose for them to be wearing ghillie suits while inside at all. They would typically be wearing a camo smock or zeltband, which is a poncho that could also be used as a tent. The next inaccuracy you'll notice is when you reload the sniper. You cannot use your stripper clip to reload the Carnet D8K with this scope mounted. It would literally make it impossible, as the scope blocks it from being inserted. You would have to reload bullet by bullet. Besides the fact that red gas cans were never used by the German army, they would never explode like this whenever you shoot them. As this all happens, I'll talk about the next inaccuracy. An American sniper squad would have likely never used this tower, as it would be way too obvious and exposed. If Americans used a tower like this, it would be for observation, not sniper support. Being at the highest point could give you a tactical advantage, but in this case, it would just make you a target. It is way too obvious. And in real life, they never occupied the Marigny church tower and used it like this. Also, they probably would have been spotted a lot quicker than what's shown. After we get spotted by the AA gun, it begins to fire at us, destroying the tower while we are inside of it. Losing 2 soldiers in the chaos and almost getting crushed by the church bell. Daniels makes it out alive as he's thrown to the ground. Pearson picks us up and we enter the final part of this mission. We held off waves of German soldiers, using multiple different types of weapons, including a flamethrower, a sawed-off shotgun, and an M1 Garand with the M7 grenade launcher attachment. When using the M1 Garand with the M7 grenade launcher, Daniels doesn't remove the live ammo, and never puts in the special blank rounds that would be used. If we fired the gun like this, it would result in an explosion at the end of the barrel, likely killing ourselves. He also never pulls the pin on the grenade, which would allow it to explode. The next weapon, the German Flammenwerfer 35, shouldn't be here at all. Instead, it should be replaced with the 41 version, which was more common at this time. There's actually no record of German flamethrowers being used in the Battle of Marigny at all, by either side. Daniels also grips the flamethrower by the tube that spits out the gas igniting the flame, which would burn his hand severely if used like that in real life. It should also only have about 10 seconds worth of fuel. We shouldn't be able to fire it consistently for about 30 seconds. The last inaccurate weapon we use here is the double barrel shotgun. These were extremely rare and never used by frontline infantry. It was given to high-ranking officials like General Patton, and most of the time as a gift for personal use like hunting. There were no wave-like attacks during the Battle of Marigny like what's shown here. There were counterattacks on American positions that forced them to retreat before the end of the battle, but wave-like attacks like this is just not accurate at all. We once again use smoke to designate where the enemy is, this time for planes to target them, which is more accurate than calling it in for mortar fire. The inaccuracy here being that when the P-47s dropped their bombs, they would have never been this low when doing so. Being this low would risk the plane taking shrapnel from its own bomb and possibly downing itself.
We captured Marigny. Germans are retreating as fast as we advance.
The following inaccuracies are at the very end of the mission here. The Battle of Marigny was not over until the 27th, not the 26th. American forces were not able to secure the town until midday on the 27th. The town was also captured by the 18th Infantry Regiment, not the 16th, which we were in. The 16th Infantry Regiment flanked German positions on the outskirts of the town, and they weren't even in the town whenever it was officially captured. Now that we're at the end of the mission, it is time to give it a historical accuracy grade. Most of the inaccuracies that I dealt with were with weapons, but I want to mainly focus on how well the game captures the battle itself, as well as displaying World War II correctly. Parts during the gameplay like the church firefight, the tower being used as a sniper's nest, and the exaggerated scenes we see at the end with the bombing run are the main things that are going to tank the grade. The complete mess of the uniforms and weapon misidentification tracks throughout the entire game, but like I said, it will still affect this grade. They just won't be the main things that I'm going to be using to give the grade. Anyway, with all of those inaccuracies added up, I have to give this mission a historical accuracy grade of 40 out of 100. It's just missing the real type of combat that happened during the Battle of Marigny, which was house-to-house fighting. You only clear one house, then occupy the church, which again was never done in real life. Then hold off waves of Germans, which is semi-accurate because they did repel counterattacks, but then Daniels claims that the battle is over on the 26th, even though artillery and those counterattacks forced them to retreat and only were able to fully capture the town on the 27th. The game also has the wrong infantry regiment taking over the town. We are in the 16th Infantry Regiment, when in real life it was the 18th Infantry Regiment who captured the town. The 16th performed flanking maneuvers on German positions on the outskirts of the town, and the 16th Infantry Regiment was never actually in the town whenever it was captured. So like I said, I can only give it a 40 out of 100 for a historical accuracy grade. It just doesn't do that well showing off what the Battle of Marigny was actually like, and adds scenes that have no real historical documentation of happening. But that'll be it for today's video. Let me know down in the comments below what grade you think it deserves, and if you disagree with me on anything. I hope you all enjoyed. Please like and subscribe if you did, and remember to turn on post notifications to be notified when the next episode comes out. Thank you all for watching. Goodbye.